Yeah, God, I wanna see brighter days, God, oh God. Under dirt, losing pace, every day hard. I've been in this place, what can I say? Elevate, elevate when I'm in your grace. I need some vision, renewing my mission. Cut out my division, now I'm feeling lifted. Envision the heavens, and I do expect it. My method blessed, I need blessed.
Hey ladies, so here it is. Stay tuned. I'm standing here at the Hair Bank of Memphis, and I am actually in a Braider certification course right now. Say hey, girl. My face. Okay, you guys. So I wanted to go ahead and make this first part of the video so we can get it out the way, and you guys can go ahead and go with your day. So when I get ready to come to Nashville or Murfreesboro, you guys will have a application to fill out, as well as you will have the acceptance letter and your photo disclaimer to fill out. So we're going to start. You guys, this is my first folder from my first class that I ever started, and it's so raggedy, but I always keep it with me because it shows me being organized, and that is something that I lack. With that being said, if you guys can look closely, it says Tennessee Slay University, established 2017. This says, welcome to the 16 hours Braider certification course. This class will change your life and up your price in less than 5 days. Period, sis. That's what I put on it. Okay, then it says, I hope you enjoy every moment, every story, every project, and every braid, sister, that is connected to you in this class. And always remember, to whom much is given, much is required. So, you guys, I'm excited about this course, and I cannot wait to actually meet each and every one of you individually. I know I can't see you guys right now, but I'm sure you guys are cute lady bosses, you know. So we're going to get ready to actually go forward with the course. It says 16-hour Braider certification. Okay, you guys, so given the course materials, let me see where we are. It says given the course materials, students will be able to define and compare HIV and AIDS, describe how HIV is transmitted, recognize popular misconceptions and stigma surrounding HIV and AIDS, identifying standards, precautions that can be taken to prevent spreading HIV and AIDS within your workplace, recall rules and regulations regarding HIV and AIDS, status disclosure relevant to cosmetology professionals and clients, paraphrase protection afforded to HIV positive cosmetologists under the Americans with Disabilities Act. So that is all in the HIV course. And we move to the introduction. HIV and AIDS are commonly recognized terms. However, while many have heard of these terms, the stigmatization of HIV-positive individuals paired with commonly believed myths and misconceptions surrounding the HIV and AIDS epidemic can influence behaviors when working with HIV-positive persons. Cosmetologists, natural hairstylists, registered braiders must be comfortable working around all types of people, and misinformation can interfere with their ability to provide quality, non-discriminatory services to all clients. Receiving an HIV diagnosis can be devastating and hard to accept for anyone. Those who are able to best cope with the disease can stand in the way of ensuring an HIV-positive person is treated fairly and with respect. It can also create situations in which unnecessary steps are taken and exorbitant costs are expended when working with HIV-positive clients. This has an impact not only on the client's comfort, but also the bottom line for the salon. You guys have to think about when you're dealing with customers that have HIV, AIDS, or any sickness, you want to make sure you make their stay in your seat as a customer at that point in time comfortable. You don't want to make them feel less of them. They're a customer. They're a normal human being. It's what I'm trying to say. So you don't want to make them feel less than who they are. And I state that because you never know which side of the road you'll be on. You know, one day it may be them, tomorrow it could be your sister, your brother, or it could even be you for that matter. So you just always have to think about what seat you sit in. And I often say, to whom much is given, much is required. So with that being said, you have to also know, if you're going to be a stylist, customers are going to come in and tell you some things about themselves, or they may not tell you, but it's not your duty to make them feel uncomfortable, because that can make or they can break your success. That looks really good, lady.
Thank you. I lost my grip today.
Yeah. Yeah. But, I mean, your form starting off is good. Okay, you guys. So it says, according to the World AIDS Campaign on eliminating stigma and discrimination, stigma and discrimination are the top hindrance to effective HIV and AIDS prevention and care. Due to the stigmatization of the disease, many HIV positive persons are not willing to inform others of their status. This can prevent them from seeking treatment, sustaining treatment programs, seeking support structures, and even informing sexual partners. As a result, HIV positive individuals often remain silent due to their fear of social isolation, judgment from their families, friends, and other peers, and other social constructs such as religious groups, co-workers, and even service providers. The effect of stigmatization prevents them from becoming more informed, seeking out information, and sharing important information with others, making it increasingly difficult to promote understanding and reducing discrimination. Learning about HIV and AIDS and recognizing commonly believed myths and misconceptions about the disease is important to professional cosmetologists and registered braiders and the salon industry. As businesses built upon customers, relationships, and provisions of quality and fair services to all customers. Acknowledging the stigma. The stigma and arming themselves with facts about the HIV virus can assist cosmetology professionals in working with all clients in the salon setting and recognizing and implementing safety and precautionary measures to keep themselves and their clients protected. This course outlines the need to know information surrounding HIV and AIDS to keep cosmetology professionals and clients informed and protected in terms of identification, contractions, prevention, disclosure, and legal ramifications. Cut! So the first myth says that there is a cure for HIV and AIDS. Lies! It's no cure. So with that being said, it says having accurate information is the key to understanding and preventing HIV transmission and working safely and respectfully with HIV positive clients. The following provides commonly believed myths and misconceptions paired with true facts about HIV and AIDS. As I just told you, they say there is a cure for HIV and AIDS. That's not true. Despite advances in treatments, there is currently no cure readily available for HIV positive individuals today. There have been rare cases publicized through research findings and clinical trials in which extreme treatments have been thought to cure HIV. The most famous of these has been dubbed as the Berlin patient. In these cases, treatment included a bone marrow transplant, resulting in a new immune system, which eradicated the HIV virus. The infected patients had to be ready for their transplant with a modified protocol to ensure decreased intensity. This affords them the strength to maintain antiretroviral drug treatments. These treatments are generally too toxic for HIV positive cancer patients to tolerate. I need you ladies to make sure you listen closely. You know, if you feel like you need to jot some things down, please do so. At the end of this course, there's a 20 question test at the end that I just want you guys to know for your safety as for working in the salon. So as we go down a little bit further, it says, today it appears that the patient's immune system has remained HIV free. Yet more study is necessary to ensure the bloodstream continues to remain free of any hygienic material throughout the duration of the patient's life. Scientists continue to monitor these patients to determine if the virus was in fact cured rather than simply in a sustained remission. Nevertheless, this type of treatment is risky, expensive, and not feasible for the millions of people currently living with the virus. An effective cure that could be made available to the public is still far in the horizon. So, with them saying that the cure is far in the horizon, that means, of course, they still have not found I guess, a cure for it. They say a lot of rich people, they have the actual cure for HIV and AIDS, but the only way that we probably actually get the cure, people who really need it, is it has to become, a very commonly used thing. Like here in my city in Memphis, it was on the news not too long ago that Memphis is like one of the top cities for people with HIV. It's sad, but hey, that is what it is. I want to sit down, y'all. So, next thing we have, it says, where am I? Fortunately, increased and ever-evolving understanding of the virus and resulting illness has led to advances in medicine that are effectively treating the disease for those who take it regularly. When sustaining this type of treatment, an HIV-positive person can reduce their viral load or amount of HIV in the blood to the point that it is undetectable or unable to be seen in laboratory tests. Maintaining an undetectable viral load helps prevent the progression of virus and prevent HIV from developing into AIDS and other infections. Currently, research is still being done to identify new treatments and improve existing regimens to further ease the burden for HIV carriers and their health providers. Every day, more is being learned to identify new ways of preventing HIV infections. Even without a cure, people can live full, happy, and healthy lives despite their HIV-positive diagnosis. And this is what I want you guys to actually think about. At the beginning of this course, when I read it, it said that that there's no cure for HIV and AIDS. Well, a lot of people, when we hear it says that, well, people has HIV or she have HIV, he got AIDS, they automatically think death. And that's why they break everything down to us, because even you could have a patient or a loved one, a family member, your child, anybody that you're connected to can have it. And with that being said, it want to let you know that it's not the end of the road. That's how it is when you're dealing with a patient or a customer, rather, that may have HIV or AIDS. Just because they have that type of situation going on in their personal life as far as a sickness, you don't treat them no different. Because the thing is, what if this was a celebrity? You have so many people in our world that have sicknesses, diseases that we know nothing about. And so this course is, the first part anyway of the course is pretty much prepare you to understand that you never know who have it. They don't have to tell you that they have it. But just because they have it doesn't mean it's the end of the world. Just because they have it doesn't mean you have to treat them like it's the end of their world. So that's something I want you guys to actually keep in mind. So when we move on to myth number 2, it says HIV and AIDS are the same thing. That's not true. I just broke it down to you guys. HIV is human immunodeficiency disease. And then you have AIDS is the acquired immunodeficiency disease. I think I said that right. Let me go back. Yeah, AIDS is the acquired immunodeficiency disease. So, with that being said, there is not a y'all missing a nail. With that being said, there is not a there is a difference. They are not the same thing. Everybody think they're the same thing, but there is a big difference. So it says HIV and AIDS are commonly mistaken as interchangeable terms for the same disease. However, in truth, they are distinct terms that are not transposable. HIV is a virus that attacks a person's immune system. If left untreated, it can evolve into AIDS. So that means if a person don't go and do their proper testing, if they don't go and get the cocktails that they need to actually, be better, then of course it'll result into AIDS. AIDS is the last stage, but we'll get into that, on down the road. It says it can evolve into AIDS. AIDS is an immunodeficiency syndrome. It is the third and most advanced stage of infection caused by HIV. I'm going to say it again. AIDS is the third and most advanced stage of infection caused by HIV. Most people who are living with HIV do not have AIDS and will never progress into the AIDS phase of the people who are living with HIV. HIV progresses into AIDS when a person's immune system is diminished to the point of not being able to combat certain kind of infections and cancers. To determine the stage of infection caused by the viral load, a viral load under 200 in an HIV-infected person indicates an AIDS diagnosis. Without medication, it can take between 2 to 10 years or longer for an HIV-positive person to develop AIDS. Without medication, you guys, listen, it can take between 2 to 10 or longer, to 10 years or longer for an HIV positive person to develop AIDS. Myth number 3 says HIV diagnosis is a death sentence. We all know that's not the truth. It just told you back in myth number 1 that people can live full, happy, and healthy lives despite their positive diagnosis. It says HIV diagnosis is a death sentence. No. Revolutions in medication and treatments make it possible for HIV carriers to live long, healthy lives. In the Western world, where resources are available for treatment, HIV has been downgraded from a fatal virus to chronic life-threatening illness, similar to cancer, diabetes, mellitus, and hypertension. I think I said that right. It's either malicious or mellitus. And hypertension. The virus becomes life-threatening once it progresses to the third and most severe stage of HIV and AIDS. However, in many cases, individuals diagnosed with AIDS can be reverted to HIV status after starting anti-HIV drug cocktails, regaining their health, and returning to a normal life. There are many treatments that can now help people with HIV. There are many treatments that can now help people with HIV, each attacking the virus in their own way. As a result, many HIV-positive people are living much longer and healthier lives than ever before. Medicines today can slow the growth of the virus or stop it from making copies of itself. These treatments, therapies, cannot fully eradicate the virus from the bloodstream, but are able to keep the amount of virus in the blood low or undetectable. Currently, there are many clinical and research trials that continue to bring insight into the virus, and its treatment and potential pathway to a cure. Come here, baby, let me see it. Okay, y'all, so I gotta put this Wi-Fi code. Y'all, today I almost thought I had killed myself. I was on the phone with one of my girls from Nashville, and my kids had wasted something on the floor, so they caught themselves mopping the floor up. As I walk in the kitchen, I fell on my back. On my back, my butt, my stomach. I was hurting so bad. And I cracked my phone screen, so I had to spend $55 to get the darn screen fixed. I was so upset. Okay, baby girl, let me put this code in here for you. So the lesson of the day was never walk in the house with your phone in your hand. Just keep it on charger. That's dumb, but that was my lesson for today. Because if I had it on charger, I never would have failed. And I never would have had to go in. Get a new screen. There you go, baby girl. Thank you. Okay. You're welcome. Okay, so it says, I was finna say, I gotta go back. Cut! Okay. So, I'm back, you guys. So it says, I actually was up on, we were on myth number 3. I done skipped all the way down to 5, and I'm like, I know that I wasn't ready for 5. Okay, so it says, there are many treatments that can now help people with HIV each attack your lives than ever before. Medicines today can slow the growth of the virus or stop it from making copies of itself. These treatments therapies cannot fully eradicate the virus from the bloodstream, but are able to keep the amount of virus in the blood low or undetectable. Currently, there are many clinical and research trials that continue to bring insight into the virus and its treatments and the potential pathway to a cure. Today's treatment and prevention interventions were made through scientific advances funded through federal and private investments in basic biomedical behavior and social science research. So that means like big investors are actually paying, for the cure that people like Magic Johnson get, if that makes sense, because they know he has the money to pay for it. Where you have these nasty little poo-puts out here that ain't got no money, that's just doing any and everything, they can't even get the cure because they ain't got them bands, So with that being said, it says, all findings point to the fact that starting treatment for HIV early as soon as possible after diagnosis significantly improves the patient's health and reduces the risk of illness and death, decreasing the risk of onward transmission by 96%. You can contract HIV through tears, sweat, feces, and urine. That's myth number 4. Of course, we all know that that isn't the truth. It says HIV can only be contracted through specific bodily fluids. These include semen, pre-seminal fluids, vaginal fluids, rectal fluids, blood, and breast milk. A person can get infected from sexual contact with someone who is infected with HIV through vaginal, anal, or oral sex. However, unprotected sex with someone who is infected doesn't mean a person will automatically contract the disease. Using a latex condom or other latex barriers greatly reduce the risk. Furthermore, HIV is not spread by hugging or massage, dry kissing, or daily contact with someone who has HIV. Hey, you guys. Hey. So I wanted to intervene with the myths and myths. Why when I talk, it's like my tongue is tied. But I wanted to kind of intervene, you guys, with the myth and the misconceptions when it comes down to HIV and AIDS. Well, I wanted to intervene because I wanted to give you guys a couple of vocabulary words to write down so that you can have them. So when we do all come together as one, we're going to actually play a little word game. Okay, so the first word that I wanted to give you guys is discrimination. Discrimination definition says the unjust or prejudicial treatment of different categories of people or things, especially on the grounds of race, age, or sex. That's one definition. So that's one I want you guys to write down. But there's another definition. Y'all retarded. There's another definition that says recognition and understanding of the difference between one thing and another. Discrimination between right and wrong. Okay, so I wanted you guys to write the word discrimination down because I've heard it so many times from students. Like, well, some people, they just, they discriminate. They don't want to come to me because I'm this. They don't want to come to me because I'm that. I recently just made a post on Facebook not too long ago that says, stop saying that people don't support you. Your gift, your talent, your skill, your product will make, well, the Bible says your gift will make room for you. So with that being said, whatever you have, if it's plausible, if it's good, if you have a good, intent when you're out there doing it, if you're doing it with the right character, with the right professionalism, it's going to be able to pay its way. You just have to wait and wait patiently. You have to rest while you wait. And I know it's easier said than done, but I wanted to put discrimination down, for your vocabulary, because it seems as if a lot of people feel like, you know, people discriminate when it comes down to picking them because of, they feel like, well, I'm working out the house because, you know, this is the only thing I do. This is that, this and that. The thing is, you cannot you cannot discriminate, or if you don't want no one to discriminate towards you, don't discriminate towards nobody. And I know it's easier said than done, but that's on one side, because a lot of stylists feel like people discriminate when it comes down to picking who they want to do their hair because they're doing hair at the home. Well, you have a lot of customers that feel like you guys as stylists discriminate on who you let come in and come out of your house when it comes down to doing hair, which you may do. But at the same time, when it comes down to them being of any type of sickness, you have to make sure, if you're not going to deal with people that are sick, you need to make sure you stipulate that before they even book the appointment, because you don't want them to book an appointment with you and then they come to your house and tell you, or while you're doing the hair, in the midst of your conversation, they say, well, you know, I have AIDS, and you decide that next time I don't want to do their hair. You know, that's something you don't want to do. There's a story or article that I was reading the other day. Let me find it. There's an article I read the other day that was speaking about a school that had discriminated towards this young lady. She, you know, told them that she had HIV, and she said she was only being transparent. Well, while she's being transparent, they kicked her out of this. School. It's a cosmetology school, to be exact. They end up kicking her out of the cosmetology school because she told them that she had HIV. And my Jackson class said if it was them, if they were the girl, they would have named their school AIDS High or hair for people with AIDS, you know, something like that. Because she did get a chance to sue, but apparently they didn't read the law before they actually made that move, or whoever it was that was sitting in the seat that made that move made a really bad move for the company in general. And I'm saying that to say, you know, even if you work in a salon, and let's just hypothetically say that you tell a customer, well, ma'am, because you have AIDS, I cannot do your hair. The owner may not even be there. You know, everybody in the salon or the owner may not even feel the way that you feel. You know, so if you make that statement to this person is going to go and tell somebody else, you know. So in them telling somebody else, it's not going to only be saying that you said it, but they'll say, like, let's just say if you were a stylist at the hair bank, they'll say, you know, so-and-so at the hair bank said that they couldn't do my hair because I got AIDS. So now that's bad light on the hair bank, because at this point, who is the stylist? Nobody cares. It's the entity that you're working up under. And this is just how it was with the lady that was, you know, at the hair school. She was just a regular administrator at the school. To this day, nobody said the administrator name, but they put it on the school. So these are things that you want to make sure that you're careful with when dealing with customers, because a lot of times, you know, I know that they take things, you know, far out the way because they're spending their hard-earned money, which I just always say, you treat people the way that you want to be treated. I was finding an article for you guys. Give me 1 second. So you guys do have the definition. I'm going to put it back up there again for discrimination. Okay, let me find this article. I can't find it, you guys. see if this is it. I'm sorry for you guys to be waiting. We'll see if it comes up. But anywho, so that pretty much is it when it comes down to discriminating. I feel like, we all know these things. We've heard it so many times before, not to discriminate. But it's easier said than it is done. A lot of people, they try their best to, I guess it's not until it actually happens to you where you make that move and then a customer is offended, then you feel some type of way. So these are things that you want to make sure that you're cautious about, so that way you won't have to, hurt the next individual's feelings. Oh, I'm disappointed. It won't come up, you guys. So that's discrimination. Wait a minute, y'all. I think it's coming up. Well, let's see. Okay, so this isn't, I don't think this is the one with the hair school. But here it is. It says, the woman aged 18 asked Webb to withhold her identity. She is a student at a major U.S. university. I was born with HIV. My father gave it to my mother before I was born. I have an older brother, but he does not have it. When I was born, my father was in the hospital. They didn't know what he had, and they never suspected he was HIV positive. That was the last test they tried. My mother was in the hospital while I was being born, and my father was in another hospital. They tested my mother, and she was positive. I'm sorry, y'all. And she was positive. They found out when I was born that I was HIV positive, but they weren't sure at first if it would go away. So they kept testing. It never went away. I have been living it my whole life. I can't say it is a horrible thing. It is sad because my father passed away a couple of months after I was born, and I still worry about my mother. A lot of my family still doesn't know. They wouldn't be understanding, so we kept it away from them. Growing up, I had to go to the National Institute of Health and get blood drawn. I knew something was wrong, but I never understood the extent of it until I was in the 5th grade and began understanding that people were not comfortable and did not understand my situation. The worst part was taking the medication and not being able to eat after it. That was a big... Wait a minute. This food just popped up, y'all, and it looks so good. Only because I'm hungry. It says that was the worst part. The worst part was taking medication and not being able to eat after it. That was my biggest complaint until I reached middle school. I knew my mom had it too, and she was all I had. I worried about it. I worried about her dying and leaving me alone. It says my mom always told my teachers that I had HIV because if I got a cut on the playground, they would have to take care of it. And when I entered middle school, my teacher couldn't handle it and said she didn't want to teach me. I was so scared in middle school. I thought, I can't tell anyone. No one wants to be my friend, and it still is like that sometimes. I am okay. I am really healthy. My doctor tells me I am doing really great. I am thankful for my positive mindset. But it's hard having friendships and relationships. By now, you'd think people would know a lot about HIV, but they don't. She says, I would never tell someone I was not close to, even when I do feel close enough to someone to tell them. I wonder, are they going to say, get away from me, don't touch me? The truth is that people really do look at you differently when they know you are HIV positive. It is hard. I have a boyfriend now, and he knows and is understanding. But I know people's ignorance is not going to go away. I still think people are going to hate me or not want to be my friend when they learn I have HIV. I worry about my mom still, my brother. She said he has told me he wishes he had it instead of me, but I say no, don't wish for that. It is something I wouldn't even want. It is something you can take and make it a great thing to live your life to the fullest, or you can just be depressed about it. It would be different if you are used to living without it and then have it. I think that would be much harder. I do not know what it is like not to have it. I have never been sick. I've been taking the same medicine for 13 years. They changed the medicines only once because I was on the same regimen for so long. That was the only time I got sick, was in reaction to the change in the medicines. She said, I never really got sick enough to go to the hospital. There are days I feel sick, but I have hope. I thank God because I look at others and see. I lost my place, y'all. She said, I thank God because I look at others and see how much worse my situation could be. I look normal, am normal in every other aspect of my physical health. I plan on keeping on trucking. I plan on doing great. I wouldn't be this way without medicines and theoretical advances in technology. And I haven't gone through half of the drugs yet, and that makes me happy. But it is hard. But it is a hard disease to have. It is a lot better now because I know I'm going to be okay. I know it has gone this far and is only going to get better. It is a bad situation and I'm making the best out of it. Well, she sounds very positive. But, I think it was a little part that I had read just in the back. That was it was the part when she said, her teacher didn't want to teach her. I'm sure that school was exposed. It never stated that part, but I'm sure that school was exposed. But as we read as we read further in the lesson, when we go back to the different myths, you will see where it tells you about the terms and the laws that state, what you can and cannot do when it comes down to those people dealing with those diseases. So discrimination was one of the words I wanted to give you. Of course, HIV is one of the words, which is human immunodeficiency virus. I think I said that right. Then you have, immunodeficiency virus. Then you have AIDS, which is the acquired immune deficiency syndrome. So you have discrimination, HIV, AIDS, myths, and the definition for myth says a traditional story, especially one concerning the early history of a people or explaining some natural or social and typically involving supernatural beings or events. A widely held but false belief or idea. So I probably would put that one down. A widely held but false belief or idea. Because in our industry or in our culture, people think when you hear sicknesses of cancer, AIDS, HIV, diabetes is the end of the world. They feel like that sickness is going to just take them on out of here. My mom had 4th stage cancer, and if you see her to this day, she looks nothing like it. So, I guess me being a part of her in her actual sickness, going to treatments and stuff with her, I was able to witness that cancer isn't, as hard as people make it, It's you, the individual. It's your mindset. The mind is a terrible thing to waste. If your mind is not positive and all you think of is the negative and the bad of a situation, the situation is going to be bad because you're thinking bad about it, I know we hear that a lot. So those are 5. Well, I didn't give you guys. I gave you myths, and I wanted to give you the word misconception. Myth and misconception. Misconception definition says a view or opinion that is incorrect because based on faulty thinking or understanding. A view or opinion that is incorrect because based on faulty thinking or understanding. That's what misconception is. A lot of people are like that when it come down to quick weaves and stuff like that, or braids or crochets, because of the next individual. Yeah, I just recently saw on Facebook the other day, this lady had got a frontal done, and it looked like her skin was peeling out. It kind of freaked me out when I saw it because I had never seen anything like it. But yeah, that was kind of scary. And I was like, dang, no wonder I said I was gonna start wearing my little frontals. Take all your little edges out. So I want to say that we stopped on myth number 4. So let's get back to it. So don't think because your customer comes in and want to give you a big happy hug on a Wednesday, that means they gonna pass it to you just because they got it. Don't think if they say, hey, let me get a little kiss on the cheek, you gonna have it. You know? You just have to know the ins and the outs of it so you can know how to treat those people. You guys, it says HIV can be transmitted from mother to child, either in the womb, during vaginal birth, or through breastfeeding. There are treatments today that can reduce the risk of type of transmission, keeping the baby safe and, keeping the baby safe and virus free. They are most effective if started as soon as possible during the people who inject drugs, hormones, steroids, or silicone can get, y'all done lost my way, can get HIV by sharing needles or syringes and other injections equipment. Anytime a needle penetrates a person's skin, even with tattooing or medical procedure, it is important that a new needle is used. Keeping the penetration area clean and unexposed can greatly reduce the risk of infection. And that's from every which way, you guys. We all should know that much. It says myth number 5. You can tell someone has HIV by looking at them.